processor? Check. GeForce RTX 40 series graphics? Of course. As for cooling, the Helios Neo includes Predator's custom-engineered cooling solutions listed here, with our unique AeroBlade fans and liquid metal thermal grease. Predator Triton 17X laptop. This powerhouse features a GeForce RTX 4090 with a max TGP of 175 watts, the Acer Nitro XC452 CUV at 44.5 inches with a 32:9 ultra-wide aspect ratio and 1500R curvature. Predator Orion X. The Intel Core i9-13900KS Special Edition processor boasts 24 cores, a flagship NVIDIA GeForce RTX 4090. It is the smallest PC that features this GPU. Upgrade your gaming experience with the Predator Orion X.
Predator Helios 3D15 Spatial Labs Edition.
The 13th gen Intel Core i9 HX processor, NVIDIA GeForce RTX 4080 GPU, and our custom-engineered Aeroblade cooling, alongside liquid metal over the CPU.
Delivering intuitive interaction and immersive sensation through technologies like advanced sensory solutions, optical display, and the latest real-time rendering technologies.
With the Helios Neo 16. 13th gen Intel Core processor? Check. GeForce RTX 40 series graphics? Of course. As for cooling, the Helios Neo includes Predator's custom-engineered cooling solutions listed here, with our unique Aeroblade fans and liquid metal thermal grease. Predator Triton 17X laptop. This powerhouse features a GeForce RTX 4090 with a max TGP of 175 watts, the Acer Nitro XC452 CUV at 44.5 inches with a 32:9 ultra-wide aspect ratio and 1500R curvature. Predator Orion X. The Intel Core i9 13900KS Special Edition processor boasts 24 cores, a flagship NVIDIA GeForce RTX 4090. It is the smallest PC that features this GPU. Upgrade your gaming experience with the Predator Orion X.
And it is about damn time na meron na naman tayong panibagong tournament para sa Predator Kings of PH 2024. My name is Ramon, and with me is Just Suave, one of my favorite friends and a very good colleague on the high. Kamusta ka pala, Josh? It has been a long time coming since we have casted together.
And long is an understatement, dude. The last time we casted together, I was living in Manila. Now I moved to the south of the Philippines here in Cebu. They call it the Pearl City of the South.
I mean, wherever you are, it is gonna be one heck of a heated time kasi napakainit na laban natin mga kaibigan. But all thanks nga pala sa kung sino ang nagbigay sa atin ng opportunity para mangyari ang Predator Kings of PH, and that is Gab. Predator Gaming is authorized to officiate Kings of PH 2024 as an official tournament registered under the approval of the Games and Amusement Board in the Philippines. Thank you so much sa Gab para magkaroon tayo ng Kings of PH, and as well as everybody else that has held under dito sa Predator PH so far. So, Josh, I just want to be very frank with you. This whole tournament is going to be one heck of a banger kasi napakaganda ng tournament format natin. And just to give the viewers out there a really good idea of what's going on, I want to be short with a really quick video just so that they know what's going on. Well, that is it for our tournament explainer. I guess it has been, a pretty detailed explanation of what's going on. But just to give you guys a little bit of rehash, it will be the first qualifier for today. We have more qualifiers for tomorrow as well as the next weekend. So every team that we have in this bracket has 4 chances para makapag-qualify sa ating susunod na stage for Kings of PH, Josh.
Yeah, things getting real interesting here, knowing that we do have 4 teams or 4 pairs of teams that are going to be having to moving forward after battling it out in the slums of these lower brackets. But of course, it's not just pride and honor on the line here. We have a huge 100,000 peso prize pool and a guaranteed spot in the Predator League Philippine qualifiers when you are able to win here.
Yeah. So, hindi lang naman yung pera ang pwede nilang mapanalo, pero being at the level where Predator League has been and how prestigious it has been, everybody wants to be vying for that spot, right? So it is very important that you get a very strong first impression dito pa lang sa qualifier natin para everybody will showcase what they are able to perform doon sa ating Predator League PH qualifiers. But now, this is at the very foot of the mountain and everybody's starting to climb as we head on into our first leg of the qualifiers para sa Predator Kings of PH. So parang ito yung starting point, Josh, no? And for every starting point, there's always gonna be that, that first leg forward. Those the first leg qualifiers,
yeah.
And then everything else will be, I wouldn't say smooth sailing, pero parang mainit na grind, kumbaga, pataas.
Yeah, it is gonna be, diba? If you don't make it into week 1, you have to show a little bit more the following week, and then that, it translates into VODs. It translates into film that people can use to review your team, and the longer it takes for you to make it into to the top 8 teams for Kings of PH, then the more likely it is that your opponents have already studied you.
Yeah, exactly. So, since napanood nyo din naman yung ating tournament, or at least in tournament explainer, why don't we discuss a little bit about how the format is going to be, since, this tournament is kicking off at 4 qualifiers, where only the top 2 of each qualifier will advance to the next phase. So parang nung last stage ng Predator League, walang 1v1 finals na mangyayari. We're only looking for 2 people out of these qualifiers para malaman kung sino yung darating sa ating group stages over to the Predator Kings of PH, right? So the excitement of that is going to be a best of 3, and the winner of this whole thing will be getting over to the Predator League Philippine qualifiers. But that's not all. Kasi bago mag-grand finals, meron din tayong show match for the Predator brand ambassadors. So yung mga favorite natin na si Maggie Carp, possibly si Mara, makikita natin dun. So, a lot to stay tuned, and especially dito sa ating competition.
Yeah, and of course, if you guys want to join, or if you haven't joined yet, of course, all you need to do is complete the Google form and wait for your confirmation via email. Once you get that email, get into the official Discord server and follow the instructions from there, because it should be nice and easy once you get into the Discord.
Yep, definitely. And especially since marami silang chances para makapag-qualify sa atin. So, without further ado, why don't we check out how the bracket has looked all throughout the day para malaman kung sino yung top 4 teams natin. We are looking at 2 BO1s for today, but all throughout, we're seeing a few very familiar faces. Nandito si Old Stinky Cat, one of the top dogs of VCLPH so far. They have proven to be stronger and stronger in every LAN that they have performed, and they're looking to make their marks sa Kings of PH, facing up against Scatter, one of the unknown parts dito sa Kings of PH, but are looking to also strike first dito sa ating Kings of PH.
I think we have a little bit of a mirror here. The second match we have is SR Nakage. Again, one of the teams that we have been expecting to show up time and time again, kind of on the same level as Old Stinky Cat, except maybe a little bit older, right? And we've had SR Nakage in the scene for the longest time. On the other side, it's literally no org. So we have no information on these guys just yet. So it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, individually, I do have a little bit of info for you guys. It's the core of the old Carti Esports roster before they started in VCL Split 1. So what will be a big question mark on how they'll perform, since the core still stays the same. Will they be the same system moving on forward? But before that, I mean, nandito na tayo sa kung saan tayo dapat mag-focus. It's Scatter versus Old Stinky Cat. OSC have built up a name for themselves a Split 1, so they're looking as favorites. Pero Scatter, they're kind of at the point where they have to destroy the top dog before everybody starts recognizing their name. It's just one heck of a story that we're looking out for.
I mean, who doesn't like a good David versus Goliath story, right? I mean, the greatest storyline started out like this. Prove yourself up against the top dog, move forward, and win everything. I mean, I think we've all watched Gen G just destroy the kickoff tournament back in was it March?
Yeah, just way back when, just very recently, early on, right? And if only, before the time, Gen G was also like one of the unknowns before heading on into this. So if they're gonna make a mark, this is the time to do so now. The qualifiers, where I wouldn't say it has the biggest margin for error, since it is a best of one tournament.
Oh,
but
yeah.
still, you also have a lot more qualifiers to join for, so you have a lot more chances. But you still want to get into that the easiest way, and that is if you are on the first attempt. So good luck to everybody over at the top 4 bracket, since it's going to be one heck of a brawl. But Josh, any particular predictions that you want to do for Scatter versus Old Stinky Cat? Because this best of one is looking real spicy.
Yeah, I mean, it's so spicy because the format we have is extremely brutal. It's a best of one. Everyone knows who Old Stinky Cat is. It might not be perceived advantage here, but if Scatter has done their homework, they're going to know what Old Stinky Cat's map pool looks like. And again, because it's a BO1, if they pick out, say, for example, they're really good on Icebox, theoretically, right? If Icebox was Old Stinky Cat's worst map, and they pick that out, they can definitely abuse that kind of film that they have on their opponent.
Yeah, I mean, since they are the top dogs and their target is on their backs, basically, so they have to be prepared heading into this. But then again, everybody has been prepared heading on into the Kings of PH tournament. So good luck to everybody as we are starting to head on into the map selection. Ascent being that first map. Well, it doesn't get Filipino than this, man. Ascent, first map of the board. And if it starts like this, then I'm going to be expecting one comp and one comp only. Double Ini, Jet on that map as a duelist, and possibly Cypher and a Killjoy, but I think Killjoy is a little bit more of a hindsight map, I would say.
Yeah, I think the Killjoy is still more prioritized in this comp. Look at Old Stinky Cat. Here, we have some innovation on both sides. Scatter starting it off with particularly only a solo Sova, playing with Ukes in here on a double duelist on arena that we have not seen in the longest time, Ramon.
Oh my, double duelist, man. Just to throw away that double Ini comp that we always look out for whenever we play Ascent. And it isn't Yux who's picking up that Sentinel, so I'm kind of curious about this, because the last time that Yux has played, back on the old Party Esports roster, he is playing that Senti role back then. But he had very crispy aim, and he always knew what type of push to look at. I'm also looking at Dignified right now, since he is picking up that Sky, and Sky isn't normally an agent that you would pick up on the Ascent map, but if you couple that up with more utilities, such as Hem6's pick the Breach, then it becomes a whole different level of utility flying onto you when you're rushing into a site, especially if Scatter is deciding to head on over to the attacking side.
I also want to put a little bit of attention on what Folex has picked, right? Flow, right? One of the most unique controllers we have in the game at the moment, wherein things get real interesting when everything starts falling apart, because you die, you still have your smokes up, everything's gonna get real messy, things are gonna get scrappy, and I love it.
I love it, man. I love it. We're heading on into the game as we speak, so good luck to both team Old Stinky Cat and Scatter, because this first game is gonna be one for the books. You win this, you head on into the next stage of Kings of PH, but if you don't, well, there's always tomorrow as we head on into the attacking side of Meow.
That's going to be an interesting start here, right? And you usually have the Sova, which gets you the information before you go all in, right? Essentially, what you do have right now is this newly nerfed Sky, where you're only, and I repeat for emphasis, your only source of information would be the Trailblazer.
And the flashes don't reset anymore, so that just gives a lot more less room to work with when you're on the Sky. So that early flash, it's not gonna be viable. It's definitely not gonna be doable anymore. So we have a passive setup for Meow, expecting this amount of util being thrown by Clid, if you spam clicks over at main, and because of that info, they don't even think about trying to pressure that. They go back to mid, fighting Yux, and Fall X takes the first shot for Kings of PH.
I respect that double up peak coming in from top mid. Now Ball X pushing up all the way up in the front, coupled with the fault line. No one's going to be expecting here with a pick me up. Getting a little bit of speed with the push coming in. Ball X double face now moving all the way into the backside.
Spike down B.
Gonna fall one after the other. Now Ball X
Yeah.
during the third. And that should be a B
Last
side
player
open
standing.
for them right now. Near last man standing, but it's
Spike
Arena.
planted.
1v1s, just taking all the picks, but it is M6 that claims the first frag, the win on the board for Meow, and that was just as clean as an execute as it can be. The passive push over to the main position to try to pressure Clid to make the utility speak for itself. However, the fact that they were able to try to brush off all that util, just decide to take that mid side, just baiting out Yux, and an opportunity to claim that market for free without that much of anything to give away towards the scatter position. So their attacking side is looking pretty crisp. And this buy round, with how they're bought up right now, I don't think they're looking to play a little bit too proactively. So scatter, they just have to chill and think about the buy round later.
Yeah, same thing here, right? We got a little bit overzealous trying to take control over towards mid, and it was an immediate punish. Knowing as well that, again, the pick-me-up ability for Clove speeds up the movement. I don't think they were ready for how fast they were able to move all the way into the site.
Yeah, never expecting that he was that close, man. Just how it is. The new agent on display, Fall X, showing the potential that it can give
I got the spike.
for everybody on the squad. Since, I think thinking about this, not a lot of controller players are used to like playing the forward position, but Fall X is a duelist player. And if you give a controller that rewards aggressive fights, then I think Clove really represents the type of playstyle that he wants to play for the team, and he's been doing well on the pistol because of it.
I mean, on top of that, right, the way that Clove just works, you can drop your smoke to the roots, even when you're dead. So this also just incentivizes you
30
to keep
seconds
moving
left.
forward now. Knowing that you can take these risks without having to sacrifice the utility that should be usable by the rest of your team. Now it's going to be interesting. B side wide open, and now it's going to be a 5v5 retake, but Zeta opens it up onto Dignified, coming in from the flank as well.
Lobby already taken, and that's when they double cross. This is when the pistols need it to double up, try to face up. Yux outdrafting, trying, right clicking, Fall X at least equalizing, and everybody's falling down like flies. 1v3, and Fall X using the NDY. He's not dead yet. A triple for Fall X. Meow starting strong with the 2-0 to start their ascent run.
Got a little bit messy, a little dicey, as you can see in that Intel power play. What happened here in Hughes? Look at this. With the usage of a singular classic, takes down Fall X, which should have made things a little bit easier on the retake, but the numbers were just not in their favor, man.
And it's Clove. And it's not guaranteed that Clove is dead. That you just have to make sure that they don't have ultimate, and they don't have anything to try to reposition out from, because that NDY, the not dead yet, the ulti that they can use is what makes it a game changer for everybody who's trying to trade off. So mid cross again for Meow. They take a short for free because the Omen wants to play off of the info. Now Fall X has short. Now Fall X has A. That's how fast Meow get A site, and that's how Scatter need to decide to take the retake 5 versus 5.
They just seem to have the reads, man. They went all the way without any kind of line of defense, without Scatter having shown any kind of presence. So it's going to be a 5v5 retake. Again, I don't know how this has happened 2 rounds in a row, but it's going to happen. And now look at this. You got the fault line, you have the flashpoint, you will have the guiding light, and it's just so much aggressive utility as you're gonna try to go all the way in. Digny down for 2, and Bobby dropping on the floor one after the other. Down to a 1v2. Aeonix still alive. 1v1 it is here, with the swarm grenade being brought out trying to deny the defuse. He's gonna hold it up to half. He knows that near is low.
Don't rush.
Doesn't have to stick it through. Oh, he tries to go through and throws the molly down. He won't have time. He has to kill him, but he took too much. And too much, he will fall from 3-0. And near doesn't even give the Guardian back up to the next round. So that just makes it a lot more expensive. And not only that, Scatter don't have anything to work with to the next round. They have used that much utility. And off the back of this beautiful double kill for Digny, it blew the map wide open. Sure, it was still that 1v1 that Nier had the possibility of winning. But Aeonix was playing in a way that plays the cover around too perfectly. He tries to go weave in and out of cover, which kind of makes it difficult for Nier and his Guardian to shoot through.
I'd hazard a guess, like at that point, right? Aeonix was not expected in that position. He would have been expected over in main. So maybe a little bit of overzealous peeking coming for Aeonix revealed his position, but you know, it doesn't matter. They got the round anyway, but now they're broke again. So we're gonna see a lot of pro activity coming in from Scatter. Zeta gonna open it up over onto OpenQT. This should expose the fact that the rest of the map is wide open. And now it's gonna be a 4v4 retake. I don't know why Scatter is so willing to do this, but it might not be the way.
The double flank Digny, expecting this half clearing. Ronan dead, but does he expect the second guy? Ronan has made cover, double kill. Digny is on fire, on form, and a site wide open yet again. Scatter tries retake on ultimate out again. Seekers double kill again for the side of Meow. OSC. Well, they did not make that look pretty at all, because that double frag out from that Scatter attempt was definitely all for naught.
That was a little messy. I mean, when we think about it, right, at the moment, what we're seeing from Scatter is everything getting really scrappy. They're willing to play the retake, but at the moment, it just doesn't seem that the playbook is deep enough to have these set retakes that just make sense with the utility that they have at the moment. I mean, what do you have really? You have a Paranoia, you have a Leer. It's still so hard to get that kind of vision, but now, already starting it off with a lot of utility being thrown over towards A, opening up a lot of information for Scatter to try and find out what's going on. Paranoia not going to connect either.
That's interesting, because they have abused the fact that they have been pushing out of A main. The one-way smoke to delay the info given up to Meow, but Clid, proactive double push out. The A short push is wide open. Nier with another double frag. This is where Scatter put their foot down and laid the law on OSC. Clid with a 3K to get the first round on the board. Josh, that was just overwhelming for the side of OSC, because they were playing off of the way of taking A main using their own utility. But when it comes to the gunfight, that is when the defense of Scatter just showed that they can contend against them.
Spike down A.
And I mean, finally, we see some kind of real defense, right? We saw at this moment Clid actually just locking down one of the more important parts of the map that OSC was really starting to abuse, knowing the fact that they're not able to fight over towards mid. This time around, it's gonna be forcing them to try a different approach. Now, 2-3 off on the map, Nier already pushing out, accompanied by the Brainstorm. Here comes the flashpoint, and they are gonna be checking for the information. The Aftershock full X, the crunch coming in from behind, not expected. And Yukes trying to stay alive, not gonna be able to connect any of the bullets here, but there's gonna be a refrag over on the other side. 3v2 now as OSC is down in numbers. They know where the spike is though.
Double push out over to the mid link position was just too close for comfort. The fact that Meow never expected that dwindles down their numbers a little bit too close for comfort. Clid comfortably taking the heaven position again for the defense. And the fact that that mid play was just a ruse all along for OSC was, well, that big of a deal, because Scatter was able to at least equalize the numbers and more. That 2 versus 3 in hand. Clid trying to play the passive game. Low HP on him for himself. I like that OSC is also taking parameters over at that A short and A main extremity, because they can just clear them or wait for the rotation to
30
happen.
seconds
But
left.
30 seconds on the clock. They have to be very patient about their next move now.
It should be a double peek coming
Placing
in
smoke grenade.
from OSC. I think there is the idea. Clid does not know that OpenQT is right there. He's down, and now A site is wide and open. Nice and easy here. Now the plant's going to be
10
going down.
seconds left.
Resetting our timer after 45 seconds. Retake should be coming in, but the problem is right now, OSC, they have to be careful, because Scatter does still have the Sova utility for their team.
True. But they're also scattered, so they're not able to Go off of each other's contact
Last
very
player
early on.
standing.
They got the early
Oh,
info.
boy.
No, and QT has the angle. 1v2
Look at this
leaving
cross.
again the Sova. Short extremity. All notice again. Ronan has done this
Info.
before, but has to do it yet again. Spots him out. Already A short being controlled. Inside sight. Ronan has a bit of cover,
Oh.
but Owen QT started it out and now ends it with a 3K. 5-1. The streak is alive for OSC. As Scatter have to go back to the drawing board.
And they may have stopped the leading for now, but man, the comeback was almost immediate coming in from one. No, it was literally immediate. They got one round and they came back almost immediately. Look at this economy right now for both sides, a little bit broken. So this is going to be the swing round. Whoever wins this round in particular should be able to carry this momentum forward. For OSC, this could make the difference between a large round differential between these two teams, which could, let's face it, right? It's hard to come back in the middle of a BO1.
Especially with the mental differential sometimes in those BO1s, because sometimes these losses in these rounds matter a lot, especially in these BO1s, because you won't have that margin for error that you usually get in the BO3s. That's why you have to make sure that this one is as decisive as ever. Meow is doing a really good job of that. And I want to know how the calling is so far for their side, since Meow has implemented a system where they now have 2 callers on the side. So maybe this is doing well for their communication issues early on, but Scatter have to find a way to outgun them, outduel them so far. Back onto the game we go. Nier also utilizing again the cover. Get into him, but spotted Aeonix turret, but he is Reyna. He gets one and dismisses out of the way. An early first blood, not traded at all by Meow.
No trade to be spoken of, and now Yuke's going to be able to take down ONQT. No smokes other than Fall X, but you know, the utility that comes from a Viper is just so vital to how you're able to take the site here. Knowing that at this point, you have to be very careful. Digny caught with the timing. Look at this, Yuke's insane right now. He wants to stay with a lot of money on the board, man, but Fall X finds him. Still going to be a 2v3 though. A little bit lopsided here, and look right in between them. The Omen is there. There's a great spot. Klid finds the perfect timing over here on the Hem6 barrel. Not going to be connecting it, but it does! And there it goes. Second round on the board now for Scatter.
Yeah, the only active position and map control that OSC had was through that A short extremity. But inserting Klid and giving all the trust from the team onto how he secures A main has been vital for how he positioned himself. He put a weird smoke around his one way to cover what could have been an early long shot through if they are actually able to get themselves a lobby control. So resulting in Klid ignoring that A short extremity does give Fall X the sight, but the fact that he was able to intercept the bomb was also a huge way, a swing for the side of Scatter. A 2-5 with that early one way yet again, and they have noted this, so they completely ignore A main. But the risk is that wind position is looking as deadly as ever for Klid.
Yeah, I mean, I like this conditioning attempt coming in from OSC. Sorry, Scatter rather, to make sure that they don't take these unneeded fights. But Fall X takes down Nier with one singular shot to the head. Gonna be a free upgrade coming in for them, but Fall X is so low. Fall Tide being brought out, but they're gonna be able to take down one. Couple of kills now going the ways of OSC. Fall X bringing out NDY as well. I'm gonna be checking the logs. But there's just too many people. What do you do when you're surrounded by 4? Nothing much. Now Utes already here. Not gonna be able to find anything. Utes gonna get the ball. 2v1. And it could depend on the timing here. Hem6 so low. One stray bullet could take him down. And Yukes slowly gaslighting himself. He doesn't know what's going on. Where did the breach go? He heard the spike go through. And M6 comes in with the thrifty here from OSC.
The coach that turned back into the player. And now he has stepped up big with 3 kills. Although the sacrifice of Fall X, I'd say it's okay, even though he used his ult, but then he tried to run, find somebody to kill.
Yeah.
Everybody died before his very eyes. But then again, it was off on the back of this guy, the breach player from OSC. Always the reliable one. the smartest guy in the room to also rotate around that box. Because he never saw him go towards that short position, right? So at the end of the day,
You should
Meow are
run.
able to regain control of this game.
Lockdown.
2-6. Early lockdown by both Killjoys means that
Oh.
they both had to get out of the site. But Ronan and Zayda are deciding to actually play for backside.
Okay, they're actually gonna double down on this. Look at this. Going all the way up through Speedway.
Ah.
They should be aware of the positioning here coming in from both house. Yes. Two people down to the hands of Aeonix right now, and the Viper Smith being activated here. Near. Good for one over on the M6 right now, but the spike's so far away. Look at the map. It's still in main, and the retake's already on the
Last
way.
player
Paranoia
standing.
being brought out, but now Yuke somehow the last person standing after all this kerfuffle.
Spike down B.
Inside of the Viper Spit, Yuke's trying to find the right angles. Sees Aeonix, but is revealed as he takes the shot, man. Old stinky cat. Absolutely disgusting right now.
Just changing the tempo of their game now. On the attacking side, where they play that slow tempo mostly around this first half, switching it up at the most random time was just a good call for them. Because then expending those two lockdowns meant that either one has to make the best decision, and committing on towards the site was OSC's best call. Knowing that they need to fight for the site, knowing that they need to keep the lockdown straight down, where Scatter had nowhere else to run but to die into the hands of, again, the aggressiveness out for the OSC squad. So 2-7, still on their attacking half, one way still open, and well, it's a low buy, so you can't really expect much from Scatter unless they pull a rabbit out of the hat, especially with Clid, very proactive again over A lobby.
They have done it before, so I wouldn't be surprised. But at the moment, right, we're seeing a lot more caution coming in from OSC here. Really slowing it down. Aeonix not showing the same proactivity towards B. So this should be alerting Scatter to the presence of the people moving up towards A. Got two people on the other side of the one-way. Full-time being brought out. Cliff cannot get out. And Digby's dog has rabies, man. It's disgusting. Aeonix continues on, moving on forward, and now A site wide open once more. Ramon, I cannot understand what I just saw.
You just cannot make
Spike
it up,
planted.
man. The amount of pressure that has been dealt onto Scatter because of the amount of timings that they've got over to A main.
One
They're just
enemy
conditioned to
remaining.
play it slow, but Aeonix just too quick to cover.
Ronan.
And quick shot. And that 1v4 could be possible, but it is another round for Meow with Owen QT taking that last shot. So 2-8.
We know
And
what we're
again,
doing.
the amount of
Trust each
times
other
that
and
Meow
we'll be
have
fine.
forced out like the slow rotation over to both sides of the map caused because of the conditioning that's already set up for them. Like the one-way smoke always being put out by Clid has just made it so it's going to be difficult if they go back to the B-short extremity. I did like that they are willing to invest that util, the Skydog I mean, just so they have that amount of control. And the icing on top with Digny killing him with that Trailblazer was just too funny, man.
That's way too
I've
fun.
got
I could
your
not
trail.
contain myself. But here, Sirius is going to be brought out comboed here with the fault line and the Rolling Thunder. But you could not expect it.
down
He
A.
takes down the breach here, but a couple of kills going the other way. Now,
Right
Yuke's
here.
going to be stuck in wine. He could be hit by the first, but Nier is going to be saving grace. That's going to be expected here with
One
the
enemy
Empress
remaining.
wreaking havoc on the enemy team. And now it's going to be Digny all alone in a 1v3. Know where he is. Lear's going to be brought out and they're trying to hunt him down. Slowing it down. Takes down one. Yuke's here. If he can isolate these fights, could be insane. But you still have the Aldrone in the hands of Ronan. Checking in for the information as they move on forward. I don't think
Oh.
they saw him.
They didn't see him. They did not see him. Has the spike, can walk back over to A, but the idea that he didn't make noise and the smoke put out on A short as well
Oh my.
is the decisive info for Scatter that he's still lurking around that A main extremity. 40 seconds to make the decision. Digny can't isolate this one at all. High-low setup means that Digny is shot dead. Triple from the air. He was the lone rat inside A
Last round
site.
before the switch.
And that investment paid dividends to a 3-8 for Scatter. I would say not bad. I'd say not bad for the first half so
Spike
far,
down A.
especially with the tempo that's been set up by OSC. That A short push by Fall X has been a theme so far in their attack,
Enemy remaining.
but now they have the counter, and that is Nier with his beautiful crosshair placement.
It's been such an important section of the map right here on A short, wherein a lot of these Intel power plays, pun not intended, right? Whenever you see Fallex make a way up through mid, up towards A, it just opens up so much of the map. And I like how they played it. They tried to counter it, but didn't work out. Now Yuke's gonna be expected. But the wall back coming in from near, they're doubling down. And the Norbis is gone. He doesn't even get to pop the swarm grenade. Here comes the crunch though coming in from behind. He's coming in way too fast near. Here's the board down to a 2v1. He falls in the hands of Owen Cutie, but Zeta, he's gonna be coming in from spawn, and Owen Cutie comes in, denies the ace, denies the round. It's 3-9 for OSC.
It was a full Filipino round altogether. The Intel power play comes through, and what have we just witnessed? Nier pulling off a sick crosshair placement double kill over towards B lobby, and when he goes back, tries to reconsider over to everybody else on OSC. And with that 4K, could have actually saved the round altogether, but Owen Cutie was the guy that they needed to watch out for, man. It's a 3-9 to start, and I'd say it is what I've expected from OSC. They have been proving to be one of the more dominant forces in the Predator League scene. Now on Kings of PH, they're looking to mark themselves, but Scatter, their job is not done yet.
Oh, definitely not over. And we've seen these things go the other way as soon as you flip a coin. But now, I like this. A little bit of presence coming in from Clid. That's going to be exposing Fallex. A little bit of weakness found over towards A. I don't think they're going to be expecting this immediate rotate coming in from the Viper. But it's all going to depend on the timing. They take this quick pause, try and wait for the right time to push and poke and prod on the map to try and find the weakness, find the timing. Yeah. But they're not letting go of their positions. Lear's going to be out, and now A is going to be taken.
Yeah. They're going to be ready with their utility once they flash through. Digny, nice flash. Zeta, though, he's able to reconvene. 5v3 Meow. They almost had this on lockdown, but Scatter are in the best spot to take this 5 versus 1. And with the flawless victory coming in hand, Scatter have proven that this game is not done just yet. It is one heck of an execute, right? I just gotta say, very quickly, that mid push that they were able to do just so that they could bait out somebody to push, and Fallex being that first victim was huge, because the fact that they were able to take, or at least deny, one of the more aggressive players from OSC, that just made them slow down a bit. They weren't even thinking about pushing outside of the site because of that.
I mean, it was just too fast, right? And I like that Scatter has actually slowed down as soon as they got that first frag. They waited for the last possible second to try and commit over towards A. Because of that, I think, like, OSC, sometimes you fall asleep at the wheel if you're waiting too long. Right, we've seen it again and again. You might have not let go of your post, but if you don't move, right? If you're not active, if you don't get the blood flowing, you open yourself up to all kinds of violence, as we saw in that last round. But now, Scatter to open up one more opportunity to keep on moving forward. It's going to be a full-on side take. They know that Fallex is behind Dice. He did not have a chance, and they're falling like flies. What in the world is this? 5v1 in a matter of seconds. Owen Cutie, the last man standing with one lonely Fnatic classic.
Yeah, I don't think this guy has anything up his sleeve right now. A 1v5
nothing,
with just this pistol. Nothing, no util. And again, this is the nerf. This is the nerf Viper that we're talking about too. It doesn't have the setup except over at A short, so he's just gonna get pushed. He's not gonna be doing anything. Spots the jet. Possibly over to the Reyna, and it is near. Claims that last frag. So very quickly, it is that first 2 victory that they got over to the short, or at least the second half. But Scatter have an opportunity to do something funny. This is the buy round for OSC now, and they have all the full buys in the world. Everyone has a rifle in this sort of lobby. So if they're able to actually deny them from getting the win here, that double digits, that's looking very scrumptious for OSC, then Scatter are looking primed and ready to take this comeback and run with it.
Yeah, I mean, 2 steps forward. There's still so much to do, right? You're 4 rounds behind OSC at the moment. You have to be very careful. Now, I like this. Scatter, not willing to take some unnecessary fights, despite the fact that, I mean, we've seen Nier get up to all kinds of hijinks, right? But at the moment, they're not willing to risk it without like the correct amount of information, and knowing that currently they don't only have a Sova, it's gonna be pretty nasty, especially since they're gonna be walking into this Killjoy setup. Look at this. Aeonix is essentially giving away the angle. Not gonna be expected here, but they're gonna be pushing forward. Aeonix takes down Ukes. Maybe a second? No. Denied by Ronan.
Yeah, and the split is gonna be very fruitful because now they have control over main, the extremity, as well as short. But Fall X killing off Nier, who's very far away from his team, taking that window space. However, it doesn't really work out that much. Equalized because Ronan is able to transfer back into the site. Digny and everybody else from OSC get Heaven control, and that's when the flood comes in. Spike down as well. Fall X using again his metal just so that he can get themselves space. Fall X with a double, and that's when M6 comes up online. OSC have made this retake look clean after the push out from Nier.
Yeah, they've played double digits. They have broken it. 3 rounds away, Ramon. Just when you thought that Scatter was going to be able to go on a run to catch up, hopes and dreams dashed in a matter of seconds. But hey, it's not over yet.
Thanks.
Yeah, definitely not. Halfway point now for Scatter still, while Meow is only a few steps away. I do like that they're bringing the judge back online because Aeonix has noted that Nier likes to play a little bit too fast. Maybe that is something that will benefit them in the long run. But they're not going to be facing the judge now because B main is looking wide open if they're able to take care of the breach. As Scatter want to take that mid split head on.
Look at this discipline. They have 0 kind of presence over towards A main, and now they're slowly moving on forward. You've got a double crossfire setup, 1 in mid, 1 over towards A short. Near, it doesn't matter where you go, but they're gonna check it out. Fall X finds drone, and here comes the flash as well. But pick me up should make it a little bit easier for them. Near, Fall X continuing to take those kills one by one. Digny as well. Traded out Ukes go, and now, well, I didn't even see what happened those last 2 seconds of the round.
The round was over in a flash. It was over in a flash. I mean, as they started to creep up, they got the contact for the flash. It wasn't for the kill, but it was for Digny to set the Fall X for the quick 2K over at that mid-bottom position. I mean, these little setups that we see from OSC, this is not built up overnight. This is built off chemistry that they already built up while they have been playing in these bunch of lands that we have seen OSC perform in, and even get good placings, either top 1 or top 4. Definitely something that we've expected from OSC's caliber, while we respect Scatter and how they're performing so far. But Digny, as well as Fall X, are ready to climb the shot. They're not waiting any longer. Even towards the blind. Dignified wants to take A main. Zeta only gets the 2K, but this is looking done and dusted for Scatter. They run back over to the eyes and arms of Owen Cutie, but over to T-Spawn, where they see Caven. This is the only point where they don't have map control at all. Fall X just dies very quickly. That you never get tired of looking at that, man.
It's kind of funny, right? Every time that Fall X uses not dead yet, for some reason he never gets what he needs to stay alive, which is pretty funny. But at the same time, right, just knowing that there's an extra piece of manpower on your team for those next few seconds to take that kind of space, right, it makes things more convincing. Meow can easily aggressively push, right, and induce a little bit of panic into the hearts of Scatter here.
Left.
And like this, there's an attempt at a fake smoke over towards B, but the problem is there's no one there to watch. So no one's gonna be falling for the fake info. And there goes the fault line as well. Zeta waiting for the timing, and look at this coming in right behind him. It's gonna depend on the timing again. Aftershock being brought out. Zeta inside of the smoke, trying to play with it. What? The crunch comes in with a perfect timing. 5 and 12. OSC are on match point.
Match point.
One more step for OSC. Old Stinky Cat are meowing their way over to the next stage. Look at the Intel power play as we head on into the next round. That over-aggression from a main is with purpose. That's when they throw the fault line out. That's when you seek out those concusses. That's when Fall X gets activated. You normally see this on somebody who's using the jet, But he's not using Jet, he's using Clove. And Clove rewards very aggressive plays. A main control being wide open meant that OSC, well, they have all the business to do to take that mid-space head on. Fall X dies, but Ronan in the air. They take 3-4 themselves. Everybody from OSC just gets answered back that fast. 6-12. It is a long way to go, but Scatter is still in this.
Yeah, it's not over yet, man. They kind of fell over after a couple of rounds, but now I think they're just trying to embrace the chaos, right? We're in a team like OSC, which does have a pretty solid structure. You have a mid-round caller, you have a pre-round caller. But what happens when your plan's thrown out the window, right?
Yeah.
Live in the chaos and Scatter. Just like that. They go all in on mid. And in the midst of the gunfight, when the smoke cleared, they won.
Again, using the utility provided by his double initiator comp, man. That's what I like about OSC. They prime up these strats, knowing that everybody wants to play the aggressive role, and they just give them an opportunity to shine. Still taking main as Yux is leading the charge, but OwenQT has his back turned, but he's able to reconvene down. Lockdown commenced as well from Zeta.
No way.
Pushing still, wants to take the fight, but Clid already knows what's going on in the mousepad.
Swarms now gonna brought out. Ronan able to take down Ham6 in the middle of the fight. Clid pushing all the way forward. This guy does not want to stop, and they do not want to give any kind of breathing room for OSC. But now it's going to be a 2v2. Polex peeking right out onto Zeta. Zero regard for his own life down. Going to be brought to a 1v1. Spike going to be taking down 7 bullets now left inside of the gun for Polex. Pushing on forward. So it's going to be a little bit of some fake info. Baiting out the owl drone here. But Ronan... Oh, he's been baited out. The Hunter's Fury brought in. Fall X pushing on forward. Can't get the connection just yet. And Ronan comes in clutch. It's not over, good sir. They're not going home yet.
That mid play back just to feed them a taste of their own medicine. Scatter just deciding that since B main is where they always aggress upon initially, then we just take that passive game. Take a few couple of seconds just to reconvene, and that's when they take both main and short by storm. That's how fast it was yet again. Ronan clutching up for the squad, although he had a few hiccups towards that. Be able to get it done with a 3K. The intel power play comes online, and Scatter, they still have a few chances for this. Meow taking all their strength over to one side of the map, leaving over to the weak side. Spotted, dash in, Yux has an opportunity to take the site, but OwenQT will give up everything over to the B side of Scatter, and now commences the 5 vs 5 retake where Scatter had to play for everything that they decide for.
This is gonna be dangerous, man. If you look at OSC right now, the ultimate's online, specifically the one for Ham6. He has his Rolling Thunder available, and now they're gonna be slowly clearing out the angles that are gonna be dangerous for their team as they're gonna be going in for a 5v5 retake. And the worst part here is, I'm expecting some sort of set strat. The problem is, though, they don't exactly have the most firepower. But here, Swarms brought out a kill down over onto Zeta, but they're just gonna be outmatched here by the gunpowder. Fall X, Aeonix, Nair still alive, but it falls in the hands of Fall X again. Another 1v1 fight before survival. No! Fall X waiting for the last few seconds, jumps all the way down, and it's again extended. The inevitable has been delayed.
No way. Fall X back to back wasn't able to clutch up that 1v1, and he had the perfect opportunity too. That's back-to-back rounds where Fall X had the opportunity to stick, but Nier was just too quick on the trigger, and to jump down from that lane position, he already knew that he won. An 8-12 where both teams have the buy round except for Yux, who has the choice to also use his Blade Storm if he's able to do so. And he's split up again on both sides of the map where this attacking round could go either way, but very interesting usage of the ultimate from this Omen on the backside of B.
That's interesting. There's a lot of patience, but I think he has opened himself up. Clint has been revealed, and now it's going to be an immediate trade. But with that being said, though, there's going to be a lot of the map that has been opened up. You can see there's going to be an attempt from Digny to try and get some information over towards mid. But they are none the wiser as to what the rotation is. Now Zeta's fallen. The problem is, again, Scatter has kind of fallen apart in the middle of this fight.
I mean, the only thing that they have going for themselves is the kill on Digby.
Oh!
As
Spike
M6
down,
has
B.
regained the
One
spike
enemy
back on
remaining.
1v2, but Aeonix
Defenders win.
sprays them down. The CT position online as old Stinky Cat have locked themselves in to the next round of Kings of PH.
And I'm not gonna lie, that was looking pretty insane. I was almost convinced that old Stinky Cat was gonna be taking it nice and quick, like not even gonna give them 6-7 rounds. But I do respect the amount of effort that Scatter was able to show in the waning hours of that map in particular. But you know, at the end of the day, old Stinky Cat brought it over the finish line, and that's all that matters.
Yeah, it's more or less within our expectations, but it wasn't as fast as we would have actually expected it to be. Scatter have put up a really good fight. You could see a few glimpses of brilliance as well from Clid. This guy was the standout for the Scatter team. I mean, yes, it is a team game and everybody provides everything to the table, but this Omen was just so annoying. Every time this A-main extremity has been controlled by this solo Omen has gotten OSC a little annoyed at that point. But at the end of the day, OSC, with their experience and their chemistry on the line, they're able to get the job done.
Of course, I mean, this entire map, I think we saw this nice push and pull wherein OSC were able to play with the tempo, right? Go a little slow, move it into something a little faster. We saw this round in particular, actually, that was not expected to go in the direction for OSC as well.
Every time, man, every time that the odds are stacked against them, they find a way to prove that they're dominating the competition so far, right? I mean, it's the system that works for them so far, and it's because of their built chemistry throughout the whole past year that they played together in Split 1, right? So, congratulations to them. Digny also was a really good prospect on this matchup, and he was so close to taking this clutch, but at the end of the day, sometimes the numbers just really don't count, and in a lot of these situations where Fall X plays the controller but actually is the one entering the site, nothing, absolutely nothing makes sense in this meta anymore, man.
I mean, that round right there, the one we just saw, the 4 kills coming in from near, it should not have happened, right? You had the perfect crunch, the rotation came in for the side of OSC, with all the utility being thrown out of it, but because of our arena was thrown into the mix, right? Anything happens. You have the dismiss, you have the heals up, the devour, perfect. He even had the option to go in for an Empress, and things went sideways, but at the end, of course, he did not get the round. Again, I think at the moment, there's a lot of people just trying to adapt to the meta. Right, the Viper's place in the meta is called into question as well.
Yeah, I mean, even though they played the nerf Viper, Owen Cutie has shown a lot of really good ideas on how he plays this, right? Like, not the solo controller. Definitely one of the more power hungry, I'd say. One of the more agents that demands map control yet again. Like, either you deny that map space or you're the one taking it for them, then I really feel like that's where Viper places herself in the meta. That's really the only reason why Riot decides to like nerf her down to the ground. But Owen Cutie says, no, we can handle this, even though Viper isn't how she was before. No, I got you. I show you how we're gonna be playing this out, man. I mean, kudos to both of these teams, especially to the Scatter squad. But in the end, old Stinky Cat have shown why they are one of the top dogs here in the bracket so far, and we'll be seeing them on the next stage of the Predator Kings of PH. I mean, before we head into break, Josh, any final thoughts before we close out in this best of one?
I just want to say, I didn't think I'd see Clove in the first match that was broadcasted for Kings of PH, and with that kind of effect, right? It's insane. But anyway, of course, with that being said, we're gonna be saying goodbye for now. After this quick break, we're gonna be back for one more best of one to decide who's gonna be moving forward in this bracket. It's me, Suave, here with Ramon. Kings of PH will be right back.
Predator Helios 3D15 Spatial Labs Edition.
The 13th gen Intel Core i9 HX processor, NVIDIA GeForce RTX 4080 GPU, and our custom-engineered Aeroblade cooling, alongside liquid metal over the CPU.
Delivering intuitive interaction and immersive sensation through technologies like advanced sensory solutions, optical display, and the latest real-time rendering technologies.
With the Helios Neo 16. 13th gen Intel Core processor? Check. GeForce RTX 40 series graphics? Of course. As for cooling, the Helios Neo includes Predator's custom-engineered cooling solutions listed here, with our unique Aeroblade fans and liquid metal thermal grease. Predator Triton 17X laptop. This powerhouse features a GeForce RTX 4090 with a max TGP of 175 watts, the Acer Nitro XC452 CUV at 44.5 inches with a 32:9 ultra-wide aspect ratio and 1500R curvature. Predator Orion X. The Intel Core i9 13900KS Special Edition processor boasts 24 cores, a flagship NVIDIA GeForce RTX 4090. It is the smallest PC that features this GPU. Upgrade your gaming experience with the Predator Orion X.
Well, if you think the first series was that hot of a matchup, well, etong pangalawa natin, mas mainit katulad ng klima ngayon. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Predator Kings of PH. Saka pala, Sir Ramon, kasama pa rin ang aking paboritong caster duo na si Josh. Huwag niyong sabihin sinabi kay Mochi yun na. Anyways, Josh, I hope you're having a wonderful time. Kings of PH is a new home for you. How are you settling in so far,
I think we're doing pretty well. I mean, who doesn't like these storylines? You got some new teams showing up as well, and I'd love to be part of that group. I mean, at the end of the day, we're here as entertainers, and we're here to highlight the players. So, and if I'm doing my job, then we're doing it great.
Yeah, well, if we're having a nice tournament like this, well, let's not forget that there's also like a kick-ass tournament happening as we speak. And I'm talking about VCT Pacific. It's in full swing right now. So why don't you stay tuned for all the action by following Predator Gaming and VCT Pacific channels for the latest tournament updates as as the playoffs is also happening right now over at May 3rd to May 12th so far. And don't miss out on the excitement because VCT Pacific has been a lot of fun. I heard that DRX might actually be the favorites to win it all,
Okay, my pick'ems are in favor of DRX. So we're kind of in the same brain cells right now.
True. Possibly. But DRX isn't playing here, unfortunately, because we have better players. I'm just kidding, because No Org versus SR Nakage are going to be on Showcase for our next BO1. And this on the line is for the spot over to the next stage of Predator Kings of PH. So both teams looking to stand tall in this matchup right now. We already know that one of these teams are very well known. So why don't we start with SR Nakage?
Of course, SR Nakage, we've been seeing these guys on the way towards the top for the longest time, right? And they do make it over into playoff spots and challengers and so forth. And I think the most interesting thing here about SR Nakage is the recent return of a Mr. Mid Mathers.
Wow. The GOAT himself has come back to show the kids how it's done. What is a really good way to showcase that than by showing it right here in the qualifying stage right now? So against No Org, they're going to be one heck of a behemoth. But now we'll take a look at the map selection right now. And for this best of one, it is Sunset. Well, we've seen a lot of good games on Sunset, especially on VCT Pacific. It is one of the best maps for Gen G, T1, Paper X, and for that matter as well. But what makes Sunset so good for proactive teams like them, Joshua?
I mean, the way that you have to control this map is so important, right? When you want to play towards A, you need to have a proactive defense wherein you try and collect the information. And when you're able to find the information, because of all the nooks and crannies in mid and how hard it is to go over towards B, taking control of A usually does dictate how the round goes. If you leave it way too open, or if you're too overzealous as well, it throws a wrench into the machinery of how you're planning on playing in this round. And this is applicable to your gun rounds or even your eco rounds, right? Because Sunset is so unique in such a way that you have so many ways to play around, specifically mid.
Yeah. So, however they're going to be shaping their core up leading up to the Sunset map is up to question, and that answered right now as we have the agent select. We have Shintaro on his prime duelist pick of Raze, something that he's always picked up, but Mid Matters on the breach. Now, the last time we've seen Mid Matters play, he used to be the controller player. Now he wants to be supporting the team with all the utility in the world on the breach. So what kind of caused this bit of a mix-up for SR Nakage and their new system?
No, what I'm thinking here is that Mid Mathers, right, having come straight back from a pretty long hiatus, right, from competitive play, at the moment, you want to play knowing that you're a veteran player to be able to provide that kind of support to your duelist. And Shintaro, right, this guy able to play on the Raze very effectively. I wouldn't be surprised if this double initiator setup, playing with Yort on the Gecko and Mid Mathers playing on the breach, it's going to be extremely oppressive, especially if you want to abuse specifically a site, because I'd say 9 out of 10 rounds, a Batman, the Cypher is going to be on B.
Yep, 100%. Because that's where the unbreakable trip is, and that's where, Cypher peaks his power as well. When it comes to solo anchoring a site, it's not going to be as strong over at the A site unless you're actually John Cutie. But if you're everybody else, then B site is usually going to be your best foot forward as the Cypher. So we're no org. If they are starting on the attack, good luck, because now SR Nakage are here to play. Now, a little bit of an introduction. For everybody who doesn't know about no org, they're not exactly new to the Predator scene, right? Because Tap just saw Kael as well as the three of them. They're the core of Carti Esports back in the days of Predator League 2023. So now they go into this with a newly refreshed mindset, but they're up against one of the best teams in the local scene against SR Nakage.
And looking at it here, I like the setup from Batman. This specific camera from Cypher gets you some early info, and that's going to be confirming the presence of the Cypher over here towards B site. Now, Maid's paint shells being thrown out to try and deny any kind of presence. Shintaro throwing all caution to the wind, going right through the Cypher cage, makes sure that he can get all the way over onto the site. Now, the spike down and them taking up their post-plant positions. I like this forward position that Shintaro is, but the timing's up. He has been revealed, and the retake's gonna be in full swing. Busy being brought out. Shintaro continuing to wreak havoc on the defending team. No org, and he's able to take him down at last. But still gonna be 4v4. That's good for one over onto Yanagi, but this crossfire is gonna be insane. Melodier takes down York, and the post-plant is being thrown into full chaos. I realized that they got thrown for a loop there, right? You had all this utility, the aftershock and everything. I don't think NCG even heard the defuse sound.
I don't think so as well, because they also had a bit of a disconnect where Shintaro was the lone member inside the site while everybody else on SR Nakage decided to play the classic sunset post-plant of everybody holding B main, where Shintaro wanted to hold both the extremities on that CT possession, but in the end, they were caught off guard by the speed of the retake and the amount of util being thrown at them because of the double initiator comp. So back onto the 1-0, no org start off with a really strong pistol, and they rely on getting these ult orbs just so Melo J also has showstoppers to boot when they got the buy round. But look at how many members of SR Nakage are perched up onto mid. This is an overwhelming amount of space for just saw as he gets blindsided. Shintaro was too quick on the trigger.
Look at this cross though. Got a double over here. Dizzy being brought out. Shintaro connects over on the top. What?
Standing. Spike
The
down
immediate comeback. Crazy MD and Kael able to take down bodies after bodies. It's gonna be down to mid matters. The veteran himself with only a classic. Takes down Kael, but the immediate trade. 2-0.
One more.
But man, Ramon, there was
buddy,
so
it's
much
over.
damage in that round.
So much, man. The first shot through again from Shintaro.
Sorry.
An impressive
Inside
one
joke.
tap over there. Hopefully we see the Intel power play come through, because that shot was just beautiful. But what was more insane after that was the amount of util pushed at them, because they get blinded by the Dizzy as the Gecko just pushes back onto Link. And that's when the immediate response with the paint shell is well thrown out just made it so that combo could not have made it any more clear that they're not able to get Link at all. And 2-0 start for no org, the best case that you could actually get for yourself to start with. But SR Nakage on the buy round now. You can see LJ is also willing to push on, but Yort too quick again to get that 1-0 in favor of SR Nakage. They push on, rotate onto A, leaving the only Omen to fend up for himself as he also gets
Wait, this
concussed
timing could be insane.
and destroyed by Shintaro.
I like the attempt from Tap, but
spike.
I think now that NCG have the guns
Spike
up once
planted.
more, there's a lot more confidence here, and you can see, right, knowing that now they have the full extent of all the utility that they need, they're able to take the site with very little resistance from no org. But at the moment, of course, it's still going to be a 2v4, and because that last round was so expensive, it's going to be an attempt from Kael and friends right at the moment to try and pick up some exit frags. But knowing that they do have a free lead at the moment. They don't really need to risk these guns.
We could also just pinch them from behind now. They're walking into the crosshair of Kyle, as well as a crossfire set up yet again. KZMD.
Oh.
2 damage, a little bit of concuss, a little bit of a
Last
3K
player
for
standing.
Crazy MD. That's all the more damage that you could hope for. Especially with SR Nakage walking into the next round with their, I wouldn't say the best case scenario for them, because yes, they got the round on the board, but they're coming in with sticks and stones. The intel power play shows why. With this crazy one tap from Crazy MD, the presence that he has across this map has been spectacular. Wherever he is, he just wins out these gunfights.
You have to think about it this way as well, right? This round, the way that these last 2 rounds have technically gone, these on paper are the proper rounds, but the way that they've happened, it's nowhere close to what it's supposed to be in the books.
No.
So now,
Oh yeah! Monster on the loose!
here with the thresh being brought out, gonna be going all the way in, and the showstopper activated by Shintaro. Knows where he is with the judge in his hand. Takes that tail in Jasso all alone in the backline, taking some kills over for himself. Now, 2v4 with the spike planted as well. Minodier and your, as it's gonna
One enemy
be a
remaining.
race against time. It's gonna depend on whether or not Melodier can get the right timing here.
Oh, maybe not, because Shintaro just whips out every single shot, but he decides that he wants to become a mural painter, just peppering the wall with bullets as well as the concuss through. But Melo J, well, at least some damage through with that 2-2 scoreline for SR Nakage. They went back to the basics with that one, just relying on the entry from Shintaro to make the opening play for himself. The intel power play shows this. Just the amount of presence that Shintaro has on the map has been unsurmountable. You remember that pistol one tap that he had in the early rounds? Now he translates this with the amount of speed that he actually takes control of main, as well as using the showstopper to collect himself 2 kills.
Look at this map. It's a 5-man stack over on B. And it's all going to depend on whether or not NCG wants to go ahead and full commit to this. Because look at this. It's going to be a trap play as soon as they get this fault line being brought out. And all they're going to be thrown out. The showstopper not going to connect. Melodier is down. And suddenly, NCG takes full control of the round. Everything being thrown out. Zaso blinded out of his mind. And even with the flashpoint being used, Cage is not going to be translating into anything. Kael only with a sheriff. Not even a single hope in the world to try and turn things around.
Yeah, and that's all thanks to the Cypher cam that a Batman has been putting out ever since the start of the special round, right? If they want to take that beam-in extremity, they do so with getting info from a Batman. And that cam that he puts out is early info on whether or not they try to push out early on, because they could also use that type of coverage to push on over to the back line of that wall over at B main. But they could also use that main extremity to push on, pressure them, and even use all that utility to funnel them through. That's just a beautiful way to counter that push. And they just waited to funnel all the utility just so they have nothing to fight them off now.
Yeah, 0. Not a nothing. And I like this. We talked about earlier, before the map started, the fact that if you want to survive the defense side of Sunset, you need to be very proactive in how you collect information on A. And because of that, right, at the moment you can see that they're throwing out these dids. He's making sure that a Batman's not willing to push forward. But
Watching here.
this also opens up a lot of possibilities for NCGs, knowing that if you take a look at mid, there's very little presence. All you have is one gun pointed in a certain direction, but because it's taking so long, right, NCG could be walking into a trap. Now smokes out, and Shintaro on the back of a couple of satchels takes down Melody with the perfect timing, but Tap is here tapping on the heads one by one. Well done. He brought out, you know.
I know exactly.
He missed the molly too, so now they can able to get through Yort.
30 seconds.
The other frag over from the
One
Gecko, and
enemy
SR
remaining.
Nakage have perfected that mid split to 80. 2 kills for a Batman to finish off that 4-2 as well. And it was off the back of beautiful timing as well from how they called their push over the mid split, because alone you could see that there was the forward space from the 2 initiators, Crazy MD and Tap for using the Gecko as contact, after he does get that contact, Tap uses that fault line. But even though they had that forward position, it wasn't strengthened. They also had their backs turned as well. SR Nakage are playing them around in circles. And you can see the defense is very unaware of what the situation is dealt with.
Cover going out.
Yeah, I mean, you talked about, again, proactivity in how you're playing over towards A makes things easier, but you need to have a way to play around the rest of the map, right? Because if you're focused on one specific extremity of the map, there's not much that's going to happen. And I think NCG have really been abusing that fact, right? Taking space in mid, trying to get the kills if they can, and if not, poke and prod elsewhere.
Yeah. Oh, well, it's going to be interesting if SR Nakage want to commit towards this A side, because look at this crossfire setup for Crazy MD, and they even dodge away from the Dizzy. So now that's info gathered, and that is SR Nakage.
Oh, the Dizzy!
Kills, in fact, for Yanagi, off the back of this Dizzy, played out by SR Nakage. The timing was just impeccable. Tap.
Look at the Batman.
Has to be careful, but the mid side, definitely not in the best position. Batman gets another, and SR Nakage are claiming names and taking asses. Another flawless victory for SR Nakage, with the 5-2 scoreline in their favor.
Blink and then catch
I
up.
think we also need to talk about this macro game that SR Nakage are playing. If you look here at how they take the space over towards A, right? Use all this utility that has been getting the information for them, go all the way in. At the same time, it's going to be a two-pronged attack because all this noise that's being generated over on A makes people look away from a Batman who is waiting for the correct timing for a late lurk that gets him that last kill to secure the round.
Just beautiful, beautiful communication being brought through.
Oh,
And if no org are not able to do anything about it, then this mid play doesn't really do anything for them. So back away for now. You see the mid pings as well, so they're still thinking about this mid push, already supplying it with utility. No more paranoia, no more dizzy flash. You get picked up in the later round, but this market position is looking scrumptious. Shintaro, that flick was just insane, but Tap is on a roll. 3 kills for Breach, but SR Nakage are fighting back 2 versus 1.
I have the spike.
and again, it's as the smoke clears. See again, NCG taking full control of the map. Right, get a couple of kills, make things a little bit easier for them. A Batman, make it a little harder. And Yanagi there for the immediate trade.
Yeah, just
This is the kind of micro play that you see when a team has been playing together for the longest time. I mean, these guys on the NCG roster, they're so experienced that this veterancy just comes in. And of course, we don't know what they've been cooking up in scrims either.
yeah. I mean, it's been a while since we've seen SR Nakage be. I wouldn't say be present, because they also been performing in a few local lands, so to say. But with the amount of growth that they have moving forward into this, I mean, they're looking like the form that they have back over at 2023 when they were heralded as one of the best teams in the Philippines, right? And with Shintaro Yanagi leading the charge, as well as going with mid matters back on the initiator role, it has been a really well thought out formula that does really work so far, especially against no Orgu. We're relying on Tap and Crazy MD to shuffle all their utility, but that also leaves Meloj in a very weird spot of playing without the initiator utility, right?
Yeah. Things get real strange when you don't have the kinds of defensive protocols that are developed over time by your team. Right? Knowing that here, NCG, again, they might not have been playing with this exact roster, but the experience across the board, and probably I'd like to say scrims as well, would definitely put them miles ahead of how No Org is playing right now. Because yes, they might have played together before, right? This is, like you said, the former Cardi Esports roster. But we don't know how much work was put behind the scenes.
We don't know how much has been tempered, into building this roster as a whole. What the plan was, how cohesive would be as a unit, though, right? So, it all depends on how SR Nakage will play around this now. They destroyed the tripwire over B main. You can see that Kyle is also willing to destroy that. Put it back in. Thrash also being notified because York doesn't want to put that out without converting it into a frag. You don't want to risk pushing a little bit too far because now they also got from the shadows, the early info, knowing that Cypher is playing around that goal position. Now they know nobody's going to be playing off that trip, and Shintaro's already activated that showstopper, but knowing them, they can't just play passively because of this.
Right, now Spike's going to be down though. Putting us in a 4v4. But I like this, that Yanagi is actually playing in a very forward position, denying and no org rather, from making an attempt at taking the backup site. Now Thrash coming in from both sides. Yanagi gonna be detained, and another kill coming in from Tap. What? York is gonna be there. 2v2 it is, but right now they do not have the guns in their favor. Shots not gonna be connecting just yet. Jasso finally getting some kills on the board right now. Mid Matters in a 1v2. But the clock is ticking. It's gonna be depending now on the spike, which should be a lot of time still.
Yeah, just a huge margin for error in when they wanted to trade it off. But in the end, Jasso and Crazy MD from no order able to make this 2v4 work. And my god, it was not close at all. They were able to use the Thrash, take space over that Boba position. And even though that market position was something that Ensar Nakage have been watching out for, the winning fight from Jasso was just beautifully done, and when it mattered the most, that's when he picked up the multi. What an epic play for No Org this time around, and their defense on the spike on B was, well, I'd say it's not the best, but at least their retake is doing a lot of numbers.
And again, this early utility coming in from No Org. Right now, should get the information the Rolling Thunder is going to be used up. And NCG, I think they totally sold this.
No
4
way.
people have rotated over towards A. I don't know if NCG is going to be going in with a full call to go A. Because I think they're still waiting for the correct time. If you look over here towards mid, a Batman is actually slowly moving forward. The same thing. And I think they're trying to throw a little bit of confusion into the mix for No Org. But, well, speaking of that, a couple of kills now going to be coming in for them. Paranoia connecting as well. But 3v3 it is. Wingman released out into the wild, and the neural theft being used. Melodier found out. They know where he is, hiding here behind a generator. Takes down York. Gonna attempt with the showstopper. 3rd kill now on the board for him and Kale. Cleaning it up. 4-6. It's a lot closer this time, Ramon.
Melo J using the big box to isolate each angle was just chef's kiss, and the amount of times that they have tried or attempted at least to take him down has been insurmountable. But by that virtue, they weren't able to do anything at all because of that. The central power play proves it. Just take a look at the amount of positioning that this guy takes up. This power play around the box and using the showstopper to the perfect amount too was just beautifully done. They weren't able to take space over on the spike. He also denied the wingman from being planted, so they weren't able to get the objective in the first place.
That's why you don't overcommit to a wingman plan. Try to let that kind of support. But never mind support. NCG's Shintaro, first man out of the gate in a matter of seconds, takes down 1, and suddenly B side has been taken like candy from a baby.
No way.
Here, Yanagi not going to be able to get the right timing of Batman taking down Melodier as they're falling one by one. You know what, Ramon? I don't know why NCG is so willing to take these fights, knowing that they should be playing a little bit safer.
Yeah, and this actually gives an opportunity for Jasso. He already took down Shintaro, but the opportunity is dwindling down by the second as Mid Matters will claim the last frag. You know, in that little moment, there was a small moment where Thrash actually detained his fellow Rays, and Shintaro was supposed to die early on. That's why I was laughing a little bit. I was gonna point it out too, but in the end, it didn't really matter because by the time that they were able to destroy Kyle, as well as take space on the backside as well, it didn't matter if they wanted to play passively or aggressively at all because the numbers didn't really favor No Org in the first place. 47. One more after or before we even head on into the second half.
Another push coming from Shintaro. Double Sash will make his way inside the door. Not expected. Jasso's taken down. He didn't even know what was coming. And now B-side with only the Cypher utility to the name of this side. Kyle desperately trying to hold on for dear life as they're being assaulted by all kinds of utilities here. Aftershock, a Batman takes out Melody elsewhere on the map, and Crazy MD though, he's gonna be spearheading this retake. 3v3 here with the Rolling Thunder. Yanagi uses the shadows, the shrouded step to get out of the Rolling Thunder, but now they know where York is, revealed by the Aftershock. Still with a Dizzy in his hands, 1v2 it is. But he's gonna be coming in here trying to isolate these gunfights. Tap ever so patient, and Kyle has no choice. He's gonna be pushing out, trying to take down York in a 1v1, clutching it out in a 1v2 like it's nothing. 4-8 it is, and NCG maintain their lead.
And in towards the chaos, man. York was just the better guy in that 1v2, the best man in the server, and the best guy to do it as well. A 4-8 half just to start off this game, man. My goodness. But before anything else, this is the best opportunity to invite the community to be part of this creative journey by designing a character to represent the Asia Pacific Predator League with a prize pool of 23,000 USD up for grabs. This is your chance to leave your mark on the gaming landscape, but hurry up because submissions are going to close on May 10th. For more details, be sure to check out Predator Gaming PH's social media accounts. And you can join right now as well over at Predator XP Hub Discord server, where it is the official community hub of Predator Gaming Philippines.
Yeah, got a lot of activities here, points, and you can even ascend the leaderboards, but never mind the leaderboards right now, because it looks like no org wants to continue climbing their way towards the finals. You can hear that they're hightailing it over towards A side. Kael baited out, stuck in his own crunch. This attempt at a late flirt has cut him off. Now spikes down. York has been found. Gonna be a 4v2. Crazy MD taken out through the box. Melodier down for 3. 1v1 it is with the paint shot still in hand. It's gonna depend on who takes that last shot. It's still gonna be York's 9-4 for SR Nakage.
Two battles on different fronts, but it was York that stands tall in the end. That push over Link was well overthought. Yes, that triple stack up, but it didn't matter because Melo J just isolated them with the classic shots. Beautifully done. Unfortunate though, because it was not enough in the end. York with that final shot yet again. If only we can see that again. Yeah, of course we can. With the intel power play, the push on towards that main position. York with that beautiful shot as well from the Ghost. You could see that from this pistol alone, that SR Nakage are taking this to its head right now, forcing these fights early on, and are able to bounce back through. Now, a very interesting force buy for everybody from No Org.
It is, I think, at the moment, right? They want to try and grasp at whatever is going to be granted to them. Melodier pushing all the way forward with the usage of the Stinger. Turns the wrong way, but Josu is there to save his comrade's life. Good lord, that was so risky. But right now, I don't know about this. Throwing out Wingman, they know that the Batman should be inside of the site, and they do it just at the edge of the cyber cage. Ramon, this is insane. This micro play
Right there.
has granted them the site, but now the retake is gonna be in full swing. Paranoia being brought out. Josso has been found, and now the defeud's coming in. 3v4 with the fault line being brought out. Tap gone. Yanagi gone as well. They're falling one by one, but even then the numbers are just too much. SR Nakage are taking this and running away with it.
Yep. And it is all from chemistry. You can see the both initiators holding on to both of their dear life, while Mid Matters was using everybody for contact and being the one to save it all for the squad. And if you watch it back, you can see that it was just as quick as ever for them to retake it again. Mid Matter is just able to recognize the timing and as well as finding the info where they're going to be coming from over towards that market position. And when they were bounced back on mid, or at least over at that main position, I'm sorry, they had nowhere else to run. And even if they tried to hide, they had no time but to destroy it.
Busy brought out. Shindaro has been found though, but I like this. Yanagi is taking down Josso. This also means that there's not going to be any kind of smoke on any of the sides, right? You can't fake it out. The dark cover is gone. Kyle is gone. There's no map control to be spoken of, and even with everything being thrown out, does No Org even do? They're broke, they're blind,
remaining.
they're being ran down from all corners of the map, and it's now gonna be only one singular breach. Tap revealed here with the fault line. Mid Matters will delete him.
Yep. Just delete him from the game now with the 11-4. Aggressively taking the defense by storm. Now, again, it goes back to what you said, man. The best defense, or the best kind of defense, is offense right now. Taking space back over main, also denying the extremities from ever taking or ever giving space up over to the attacking side as well. Already lurking down on both sides of the map, but now an interesting choice for SR Nakage, taking that mid side, and once they take tiles, that's when they go for the double lurk over A. This is gonna be a beautiful timing for the side of SR Nakage.
Look at this push!
Jumps on them!
Absolute insanity. You see that setup with the fault line. They fully read that No Org was gonna go for an A hit. They take down one person on that side, and Kael, everyone else a little bit low on the roster as well. Now it's gonna be an attempt for No Org to try and keep them away from the spike for as long as possible. Thrash being brought out, Paranoia, all this utility being used sparingly, making sure that they can delay the retake coming in from SR Nakage. But so many people coming in right here. Mid Matters and Shintaro taking out each of the angles. Kael, Solo, and Crazy MD desperately holding on for dear life in the middle of the site. Found here by Wingman, but he takes out Mid Matters. Too many people still on the map for him to steal it away. SR Nakage, the destroyer of dreams.
And the dream is almost about to be given up over to the SR Nakage squad. One more chance needed for the side of No Org as we take a look at this Intel power play. Shintaro, this perfect satchel charge. Never expecting it as well, because that was right after the barrier orb, or the barrier actually just decides to cool down. And by the time that they also got control of the site, Rory dwindled down in numbers. Crazy MD could not do what Melo J have done in their CT side. Now, one more chance for them. Giving up over to SR Nakage.
A little bit of a mystery there, an attempt from Shintaro to take down Tap, but despite that, NCG found their way all the way in the spawn of the attacking team. Now though, 3v2 numbers are gonna be in their favor. Look at this. I don't think they know where Yanagi is. Takes down Jaso. Now we're equal. Problem is the spike has yet to go down, and Yanagi, they know where he is. Went on the timing shrouded step. Unfortunately, revealing his location at the last possible second. And now it's down to a 1v2. No Org have the chance to extend this series a little bit longer.
Just another shot through. Just one more step. And only needing one man to do it to Yort. Already moving in as fast and as furious with that. But the fault line does actually connect. Tap only needed one shot and he got it. A 4K for the breach. No Org have another shot coming into this matchup. And even though SR Nakage are one more over towards the victory, they cannot finish it in time just yet. That proactive play over at that mid position just costed them too much. And even though they have the perfect timing from Yanagi, he reconvened at the last possible second.
You can imagine, right? The amount of pressure that SR Nakage are able to supply all across the map. That No Org, somehow, they can't really figure out where the defense is. Let's look at this. They keep walking into the stronger side of the map for SR Nakage. And this, I'm not sure if it's just misreads or if SR Nakage are just calling out of their minds currently.
Yeah, I think it's the latter right now. Since they've always been shuffling from both the A and the B site, this is the only time that they could actually attempt this B site hit. They just show the trip wires. He can just push in without that justification, but the rolling thunder. Oh, this was not the best time.
You see this? The spike is in no man's land, Ramon. Even with the race activating the showstopper, he just did not have enough time, all because of the rolling thunder. And now they might have found it, but they also expended another ultimate on the way. From the shadows, gone for this attacking team. No Org does still have two. Neural Theft in their hands along with a Rolling
30
Thunder.
seconds left.
But now the new problem has been brought out. They're down a man. They have virtually no map control. And I think this is an attempt to maybe double down on B. And they are going to be doing it right now. Smoke's now going to be out as well. Teleporting right into the trap wire. Batman is ready for it. Now it's going to be down to a 2v3. 6 seconds left on the clock as now they are counting down the seconds. Hope and dreams in the hands of this team right now. Kael down in a 2v1. York, last man standing, and no Org. Grab it out of nowhere.
One more chance for them. And every marching minute, they get stronger and stronger by the second. Waiting on Kael to take the forward space because they already had the Rolling Thunder set up. We can see this Intel power play that they are primed to take that aggressively and by the skin of their teeth. Tap. Beautifully done with that double kill, as well as having the time, enough time to plant the spike.
This is why you need a Gecko on your team. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, in VCT we have a 70% Gecko pick rate in VCT Pacific. But again, they're walking right into a Batman. Perfect setup. The one-way takes down Melodier. Exposes Josso. But Mid Matters is going to be gone as well. Now, Spike going to be brought down. Josso making his way all the way into the back of sight. But the trades are coming in one after the other. Again, the Spike out in no man's land. They're slowly pushing on forward. Crazy MD should be aware of the presence of Shintaro here. They shoot him down, and Tap's going to be good for two. That's going to be a 1v2. No information as to where Yanagi is at the moment. But look at the plan.
Spike planted.
They're deadly aware of this possible location.
Yeah, we already know where he's coming from, so that's just an easy one tap from Crazy MD. And Yanagi had nowhere else to run but just to hide. 7-12 yet again, and they're building momentum by the second. No Org are making this hard to swallow for SR Nakage, and every round counts for them so far. But this push from Jaso was just everything for them. Already getting two away from SR Nakage. This opens the site up very entirely. Now, this is one more shot at doing so. They're building this momentum back up, and even though they had the perfect lead, SR Nakage setups are not working at all now.
Showstopper. Oh, it misses. It goes wide. And Shintaro now, they know exactly where he is. But look at the map. They've pushed no Org so far that they're stuck inside of their own spawn. Mid Matters may have fallen, but now Crazy MD has been found. And now, no Org has to be able to read where Nakagi are sitting, at what moment they should be able to push, because look at this. You have York slowly pushing on forward if he needs to reach first, and he does fall. Tapped out of existence right now, but Jazo now taking down one, and they are chasing him down. 3v4, and now Nakagi are broke. Ramon, I think this round's over.
This is definitely over. They're not going to be able to stop them from planting the spike, and I don't think they spotted him. I don't think a Batman was known, so he can just creep up. He can just wait for the two players on SR Nakage to walk up over on that extremity. And they're also trying to buy time for him. These Tripwires is doing a really good job of doing so. He already made his presence, so he knows that someone's flanking.
One enemy remaining. Enemy down.
Attempt was made, not granted. But Ramon right now, what we're witnessing is a Cinderella story in the making. We had our doubts here for no Org, but they've won 4 rounds, right? On the cusp of death, standing at map point. One singular mistake gives away the map. And then they're thrown away. They have to go home and have to try again tomorrow or sometime next week.
Yeah.
But they're still holding on for dear life.
Yeah. And they have to trust themselves that they're going to be able to do so. So every round counts for them so far. Same story every time. That everybody pushing out from mid in that previous round was pivotal. Just so that they have map control, but also because they had no guns. So now they're playing the passive game, letting everybody from No Org play their own tempo, play their own game. Kael even pushing through that mid position is a very thoughtful position. But Kael He's the one trying to push on through. Yort has to be careful. Blinked as well. Low on HP is the Gecko. And you can also see that No Org are willing to take the fight on B main despite all the flashes, despite all the utility. They are prepared to fight against SR Nakage.
I don't know if you saw what just happened, but they flashed the Thrash. And because of that, No Org has been denied space, right? If that Thrash got any kind of value, right, in those last few seconds, moving on towards B, they would have crashed on and tried to put the spike down. But because of that now, they've been exposed. From the shadows has been used up. They're slowly moving over towards A, and the timing is going to be found by Kyle. Shintaro taken down, and York is very well aware of the current position. Wingman whips his own clap right now. The Sonic clap coming in from Little Bro. Works out, but here, kill coming in for Yanagi, and he's going to be taken down 3 in a matter of seconds. Melodia here.
I know
Here
exactly
for the trade 2v2. Now the neural tech been brought out. It's gonna get real
One
scrappy,
enemy remaining.
real quick.
10 seconds
Fail.
left.
Good for the third. Batman still alive. 8 seconds left on the clock. And now Spike's gonna be brought down. Everything is gonna depend on the timing. Melodier and everyone else right behind the Batman, trying to play a ring
Last
around the
player
Rosie
standing.
right now. Takes down Kale. It's gonna be down to this one final duel, and the Batman does not find the right timing. Melody again and again. No
You're
Org
going to scatter from my
continuing
stuff.
their run.
Super
Not
easy.
gonna fall at the hands of NCG just yet.
Vindication on display. No Org. We're getting pushed around by SR Nakage all throughout this game. But now they have forced them into another eco round, forcing them possibly to double digits if they win this. SR Nakage have been so close every single time, but they are winning their 1v1s. They are winning their isolated duels. Now it all comes down to this. They win this, they got a huge shot of adrenaline, and No Org need this as importantly as ever.
Wait, but this opening kill from Shintaro. Fine, Kyle. Don't know that Good Matters is here, but Tap does check it out. At the moment, though, any kind of kill, any kind of boost to your confidence should be helping out Nakage, right? I mean, at this point, I would have called the timeout, but they just have it. Right? It's the attempt now. They may have just given away too many rounds at this point because they're broke. Ramon, they are broke. Their mental is almost completely certainly destroyed at this point. And No Org have been calling out of their minds. They've been playing with perfect tempo here. The map control has
Camera
been
taken out.
so disgusting coming from No Org that I'm starting to wonder what's going on, because these rounds have been going the way of No Org by the smallest possible margin every time.
Yeah, with the double flank though, they also have Paranoia still set up. They're all punched up over at that link position, just leaving all the trust
my.
over to the Omen. You have to be careful because they also have no control over the elbow.
Oh,
now
boy.
Yanagi strikes.
Last player
Now
standing.
it goes though. Falling one at a time, and again it's Yort. Only with the Sheriff in hand, falling at the hands of Melodier. It is 10-12. We may be facing the possibility of an overtime. This right here is the moment where Nakage. This is gonna be their last buy, the last chance to end this map early. If not, they're standing on the cusp of an overtime and a real win from No Org. They could be disappointed after going through the lower brackets, the earlier stages of today's qualifiers. After going through all that, they
this
will
all
have
be
to
for naught?
reset.
Will this all be for naught? Will this all be for nothing? You have to punch through the code with Melo J. Oh, he gets concussed by his own fault line. So there's no stopping this guy after that reach utility. They have full control over that elbow position since they are at a triangle position of trying to control that big box side. But Yanagi primed up, ready to swing, knowing that the Paranoia is online. They use that press as well. They don't know about that. Shintaro to push the lead. And again, Tap does something to get the 2-for-1.
How do they still remain standing at this point in time? It's gonna be a 3v4 KL. Further suppressed here by the Aftershock. The Rolling Thunder now gonna be coming into play. Mid Matters takes down the Cypher. York not to be found in a position, but they're falling one by one. Again, it all comes down to the duels, Ramon. I don't know
Spike planted.
what is in the water for No Org, but NCG, round after round after round, failing again and again and again. Their hopes and dreams slowly fading away into obscurity, and now it's all in the hands of a Batman who is down in a 1v2 with a spike now ticking coming in. Step brought out try to find his position, but now Josso perfect with the peek out secures round number 11. One more round and No Org have brought it all the way to an overtime.
From 5 to 12, all the way down to 11. One more round. One more to sink in their destiny. Because No Org, they brought it back from the brink. They brought it back from the brink of defeat. But look at the amount of time that they have pushed on. Look at how fast they have been at taking space over that A site. He didn't even need to use that ultimate because he knew that he is dead to rights. Now we fall back to this match point still. But No Org have one more shot, one more chance of claiming overtime and possibly taking it away from SR Nakage.
They're so close. A little bit of a change in tempo now coming in from NCG. Gonna play it nice and slow, a little bit more reserved than they were earlier, and they're not gonna be taking these unnecessary risks. Remember, Ramon, the reason why No Org got this far is because Nakage got a little impatient. They wanted to end the game early, and what does that get you? It gets you round after round after round of failures. And now, they've switched it up. This is looking DRX-esque, wherein we see NCG replenishing the utility that is being used defensively, making sure no one can push up through A. And look at this solid crossfire coming in through mid. These are the weak points that No Org has been taking control of the last few rounds. But now, again, setup of a Batman, opening it up. Showstopper thrown out. Mid Matters cannot connect. Again, Spike, knife. Again, it's going to be in no man's land. The Batman here with only a Guardian swarming on this side. People falling one by one down to a 3v2. Again, Ramon. Again, this is not going to end anytime soon. Now the spike's going to be ticking. York slowly walking up through main. To check out each of the angles here. Knows that once he shows his presence, there's going to be a peek out coming in from 3-4 possible angles here in main. But Yanagi does have the smokes up. Should make things a little bit easier. Wingman being brought out. Crazy MD down. Look for a fourth. Another 1v1. But Little Bro is defusing. Kyle again staring down into the abyss. On the other side, and again we are brought to an overtime. No Org, despite staring straight into oblivion, have denied NCG their victory. And this again, we are bargaining with Dormammu.
And what a way to start the Predator Kings of PH, ladies and gentlemen. First leg qualifier and our first overtime of the tournament. You're just absolutely dominating on these kids. A 4K, locking them out of B main. And even though Little Bro got shot down because of Kyle, he was just quick out of the one-way, man. Just put to the dirt. Yort was not able to convert back online. We went from a 5-12 now into the overtime rounds. That's crazy, Josuave.
And I thought at this point, we might be eating dinner because NCG, right? SR Nakage, they speed ran the entire first half. But somehow, No Org went in for a full reset and they're here, standing, slowly moving forward. Now, though, we switched it up again. Nakage, remember, we saw that they pretty much dominated this attacking half of the map. It's going to depend on who's going to be starting it off. See this 4-man stack? Yeah, like you said, over on B, lots of utility actually activated over towards mid. You see the Cypher trips. Full control for A and mid coming in from Kyle. And this should be signaling a full rotation. Fault line being brought out. Paranoia every corner check here. Problem is, Ramon, there's no one here. Nobody's home right now. Camera's now going to be up and the rotation now going to be coming in. Look at Kyle. And for the opportune plan strike, it's going to be a 5v5 retake here between these two teams. And the plant has been denied as well. More time granted for No Org to rotate over. Melody takes down Mid Mathers. Spike finally planted, but it's all coming down, crashing. The avalanche, that is No Org. continuously building up right now. Melody up in the faces of NCG to take them down one by one. 2v1 it is Shintaro, the last man standing, desperately holding on to dear life on the other side of Generator. Brings out the showstopper, blows in the smithereens. The clutch from Shintaro, finally getting another round win for Nakage.
Match point.
One by one they start, but one by one they fall yet again. But this time it's on the other side of the coin, because No Org have fumbled the bag on that one, leaving Shintaro on an island over at that backside, waiting with that showstopper, just locking down just so with one shot from the rocket. A 13-12 now, and it's almost like it was destined to be like this, man. But never have we thought that it took this long to do so.
Good lord, what a game this is. So supposed to be a best of what was supposed to be nice and quick, but right now neither of these teams want to let go. I mean, we talked about it, right? The advantage that you have being the first, one of the first teams to qualify into the later rounds of the tournament for Kings of PH. This could mean the difference between being able to save your entire strat book or revealing everything in the weeks to follow.
I'm curious if they're going to be using that fault line early on. There you go. Just to get that elbow guy, and Yanagi had never expected that. He had the opportunity to use a shouted step, but because he was overwhelmed, concussed, blinded out of sight, he was not even given an opportunity to breathe, man.
They've called it off. You see it. You know it. You hear Dizzy. This is just going to confirm right now that NCG's presence has been detected. Because of that, we're looking at this new setup by a Batman, which does make sure, at least for them, that mid should be nice and safe until one of these strips gets destroyed. You're seeing these rotations come back in right now.
30 seconds left.
Also being used up. It should alert them to the possibility that No Org is actually slowly walking their way towards B. And
Market's
get a
open.
fault line.
Yeah, the only thing that they could stop them was because of that camera, but they also use, again, both of their util pushed out of market, already forced up on that
again.
Seeing three, but tap, always the vanguard, always the guy to watch out for! 3 kills for the breach! And this guy is blindsiding SR Nakage every single time, rolling thunder, forcing York out of position, and cannot retrieve the spike anymore. A beautiful execute for No Org, utilizing that open market just so to claim the 13-13. One more overtime to find out who wins in this blitz matchup.
Just when you think Nakage have locked down the entire map right now, No Org were able to smell that opening over in market that they were just not ready for. And look at this smoke. This smoke that was thrown by the Omen at this point in time. I realize this actually cuts off any kind of control that could have been granted from CT. Because of that, everything opened up for No Org, got the plant down with very little difficulty, and because of that, again, everyone had no choice but to push out in one singular angle that, unfortunately for Nakage, 4 different guns were trained on.
SR Nakage doing really well on forcing uncomfortable positions on No Org in that round. He's forcing them on wide angles, on backside. But No Org, there are no slouches anymore. Back on the defensive side, not their strongest side, but it's the side that they're usually finding ways on providing a lot of improv. So back on B main and over to the passive position for No Org, letting Shintaro make the first move. And good thing for him, because nothing is stopping him from ever doing so, playing on the retake, and this is when No Org want to fight back.
And now York finally gonna be good for one more, and look at this time coming in from a Batman as well. People falling on either side of the map. Just like that, we're seeing again this NCG that we saw. They're able to take this space. They have a very late lurk coming in from a Batman that is never expected with the correct timing. And in a matter of seconds, blink and you miss it. No Org falls like dominoes.
Yeah, man. Again, back on the situation for SR Nakage, claiming the first victory forward, but then in the overtime round, No Org find a way to clinch it back up. But in this attacking round, where they're usually known to be very fiery starters, maybe they can make a difference right now. You can see that everybody, especially Shintaro, want to take that main position. They're not playing the passive game anymore, so now they're forcing the fights head on, but they could just wait for that util, claim that map control slowly over B main, and since they're not giving info, then that's when they could just cut noise, wait for another timing on the other side of the map.
What is this? Look at this camera over in mid. The presence of this camera and the fact that it's not getting shot down means that for at least for no org, right? They know that NCG is not taking this mid control. Now it has been used because of that. In response, this rotation's not gonna start.
Right there.
Right? People are starting to double think whether or not they should be worried about their flank. We do have a Cypher utility, but it's gonna be used up again. A Batman here again with the setup using this one-way cage. Again, another shot. Making their way over into the site. The Batman waiting ever so patient, takes down Jazzo. Now, here with the backup coming, Wingman brought out as well. But people are falling despite all this utility being thrown out. Shintaro exposed outside in the angle 3v2. Like, yet to go down, 35 seconds left on the clock. And now it's going to be down to Yanagi again. Paranoia being thrown out. He snapped that, takes down the head. But here, Flash brought out. No, crazy MD unaware of the positioning. Yanagi finally brings it forward after a marathon, running back and forth up against no org. SR Nakage secure this map win and qualify to the next stage of Kings of PH 2024.
Hey, it took a couple of decades, but we actually went to our destination. It is proven that SR Nakage are the better team this time around, but what an incredible effort for No Org and how they have performed all throughout the core of the old Cardi Esports roster, proving that they have what it takes to take on the contenders, especially Melo J, who was one of the newer players over at this roster, showing why he has to be in the conversation. But everybody from SR Nakage performed, especially Yanagi. That small outplay from that Omen TP, where he dodged away from that Thrash, just giving himself a little bit of a reposition just to surprise and have Crazy MD at a weird position where he never expected him to be on the other side of that pillar.
I mean,
What
when
a
have you
play
ever
from
seen
him.
this, right? You outplay a Thrash with the usage of your Shrouded Step. And because of that, he wins that game. I mean, dude, legend has it, right? At this point, that maybe Mid Mather's son has now replaced him in the roster, still playing on the bridge. That's how long this game has been going on. Right? And we've seen so many different looks. NCG here with these exciting trap plays that happen in the first 3 seconds of the rounds. And No Org with the instantaneous reads on where Nakagi have been playing. It's outplay after outplay after outplay. It turned into essentially a chess match for this entire game. And this is where it really started, right? Melodier gets this kill over onto a Batman, and everything started going sideways. It took a while, but at the end of the day, NCG still wins.
Yeah, and off the back of the very minuscule moments that actually mattered a lot in the long run, especially a lot of members popping off, different individuals showing star power as the game went on. But, you know, unfortunate because you also saw a lot of brilliance as well from a few players on SR Nakage. You could also see that there's a fire and ice situation where Shintaro has been doing really well on the entries while Yanagi can clutch up in a lot of these situations. I feel like it's a good system moving forward, but there's just a lot to work on all throughout for SR Nakage, and hopefully they actually do so in the second round of Predator Kings of PH, man. Josh, I just gotta say, looking at the tournament bracket right now, all throughout, especially after these two BO1s, I can't expect anything more than a beautiful bracket heading into the second round, man.
I think it's gonna be insane, right? We saw NCG. We had our doubts, right? Mid Mathers coming back out of retirement and on a new role that he's never played before. And again, we saw Nakage almost clutch it out. For a second, I thought No Org were actually going to start running away from it. But now they've made their way forward, advancing all the way to playoffs. Here, give you guys a little bit of an idea what happened today. Old Stinky Cat and SR Nakage having moved all the way forward. But I mean, if you look at the earlier stages here, the top 8, actually, we do see quite a few teams here that I'm excited to see in the following weeks. We got Geek Fam down there representing the south of the Philippines. Here in Cebu, actually, they're based. You have Ivy League Gaming, also pretty insane.
Yeah, and you know, a bunch of like familiar faces as well, even though they're not in the top 8. They also have a lot more chances. Like now as esports, we also have Zol Esports
And
plus
Oasis.
Gaming. Everybody from VCT playing all the way right here in Predator Kings of PH. So everybody has a chance, but we already got to give credit to whoever has won in this leg in particular. So congratulations to both Old Stinky Cat as well as SR Nakage. Although it was a very prevalent fight, this is where they have been given their worth. So now it is, it has been one heck of a broadcast so far, Jaswabe. And I know that you've been having fun. Unfortunately, though, I just gotta feel like, even though I want to see more matches, this unfortunately is the end for us.
Yep, it's going to be the end for today. Of course, congratulations to the top 2 who have made it forward into the playoffs to advance. But again, we have more happening tomorrow. Some of the teams that we thought we'd see in these 2 matches today, especially the reigning kings of VCTPH, Zol Esports, didn't even make it forward. So what does that tell you about this bracket? This bracket is insane, Ramon, and I'm looking forward to so much more.
Yeah, and a lot more coming through to you guys tomorrow for more Predator Kings of PH. Again, my name is Ramon. With me is Jisuave. We'll see you all tomorrow for more Predator Kings of PH. So we'll sign off and we bid you farewell.